So tell me, do you have a set of dilators or a wand collecting dust in the bottom drawer right now? Please tell me. Welcome to the Pelvic Power Podcast. My name is Penny, and I am the host of this lovely space. I am a pelvic floor yoga teacher who teaches people with pelvic pain how to use movement, breathwork, and body awareness to ease and manage their pain while living a pleasurable life. In this space, we'll be talking about all things taboo because we love it and how to support your lovely pelvis and your lovely self on this journey that you are on. I am very happy that you are here and I hope that you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Pelvic Power Podcast. I'm very happy that you are here today. I'm trying to get comfortable and I feel like Tay is probably trying to do the same thing right now. I do not know what she is doing. What are you doing, Tay Tay? Can you just lie down for a little bit? Just relax a little bit? We are on quite the journey, me and little Tay. Here she comes. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, she's probably gonna come on into frame soon. Anyway, welcome to this week's episode. I'm very excited that you are here as always. It's a pleasure having you listen to tune in on the podcast. You have no idea how much it means to me. I love hearing from you, what you got from the podcast, what you learn about yourself. It means so much to me reading all your little messages, so keep them coming because that's what keeps the podcast going. So, yay. I'm very happy that you are here today. So, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something that you are probably most likely already doing for your pelvic pain, or that you should be doing, but you're not doing. So, we all have those things that we should be doing for our pelvic pain, but we might not be doing them because either we think that it's not working, or we disassociate, or we don't want to deal with it. And today, this is kind of like your sign to start doing the work because I'm going to be giving you some tips on how you can support yourself on this part of your journey, this specific part of your journey. So tell me, do you have a set of dilators or a wand collecting dust in the bottom drawer right now? Please tell me, are you? Because I think most of us are. You're either here because you live with pelvic pain. Well, that's most definitely the reason why you're here. And you've probably seen a pelvic physio and you were probably given a wand or dilators. Is this something that you're actively working with? Because it is super important for your journey. And I know that this can feel really hard and just very, yeah, it's challenging. Like you don't want to do it. You don't want to partake in this part of your journey. But we're here, we're doing the work. No one else can do it for you, so we're doing it. So we're diving into it today. I was probably in my early 20s when I was given a little tube by my gynecologist and she told me to use it to dilate. To use it, shove it into my vagina, my vagina to dilate. This was not very tempting at all. Right now, you know that we're given these sets, dilator sets. They're super cute. They are cute. And there are different sizes. They range in different sizes that you can use for your dilating journey. And I encourage you to use them. So when she first gave me that, I was like, this feels very clinical. And it kind of felt like, ew, this is disgusting. And that in itself put a little wound. It created a little wound within me. Like something's wrong with me. Something needs to be fixed. What is this? I don't want to shove this little test tube up my vagina to work on this. So we're changing it around a little bit today. I'm often talking about romanticizing your pelvic journey, and this part of the journey might not feel that romantic to you, but we're here and we're gonna try. We're gonna make it our own. So I have a little list today as well. Clearly, 2026 is the year of lists for Penny. So when you're working with your dilators or if you're working with your wand, so I don't use dilators right now, I use my wand. I use my wand and I love my wand. We have a good relationship, me and my wand, and I want that for you too. So whether you're working with one or the other, let's use some tools along the way that can support you before, during, and after. So first off, find your dilator set, find your wand. I'm just going to say the tools. So that depends on you, what tools you're using. So before you start to get into this journey, you're going to do it. You've you've said to yourself, I'm going to do this every week for the first 3 months. It's on your bingo card. You're going to do it every week for the first 3 months of the year. And you're going to do this for yourself because you know it matters. So before you even think about doing this, I invite you to set yourself up for it. And that could be something that regulates, that makes you feel safe and more connected to yourself. So that could be having a shower, taking a bath, journaling, whatever that may be for you. And as I always saying, make it romantic. Light some candles, turn off the ceiling lights. They're not very romantic. We don't like those lights. Light some cute lamps and bring a little sparkling water with you, or make it just a whole experience and make it more you. So yesterday I was gonna do a little bit of visualization thing that I do at home. And before I actually sit down to listen to the song, then I want to visualize too, okay, what kind of tools can I use along the way with this? I pull up my crystals, I pull up my essential oils, I make myself comfortable, I turn down the lights. How can I romanticize it even more? And this is what I want you to do beforehand as well, just to settle in, to connect, to slow down, just not to just rush into it and feel like, oh, I have to do this right now. Like, this is so important. Otherwise, it's never going to work. Oh, we don't want to make it more stressful. We want to take it down. Take it down a little bit. So you're taking some time for yourself before you do it. Then you end up on your bed. And here comes the golden nuggets. First, you're going to connect with your breath. When you're working with your dilators, your tools, your wands, are you aware of your breath? Is that something that you're mindful of? Same thing when you're being intimate with someone. Are you aware of your breath? Are you aware of how the breath is moving throughout your body? Probably not. You're not thinking about it because it's a stressful situation. But we're setting us up for success here. We're setting ourselves up for success. So you're lying on your bed. Plant both feet. Are you going to place your right hand on top of your belly, your left hand on top of your heart? You can do this with me right now. And lying there, just start to tune in to your breath. And you haven't even gotten to the dilator part yet, so just let yourself focus on your breath. See if you can invite the breath in a bit deeper. You're feeling your hands rising, chest, rib cage, belly. Invite the breath into the pelvic floor. Not only are you connecting more with yourself, but you're also starting to relax your pelvic floor more. You're creating that movement through the pelvic floor. And you want to take this connection with you as you are working with your dilators. You're already creating movement through the pelvic floor. It's going to be easier for you to work with your tools as you are focusing on your breath as well, creating that movement with the breath. This is also a great way to ground. You're grounding before you're working with your tools. So you're lying there, you're focusing on your breath. Maybe you're taking 10 breaths. Maybe you're thinking about certain body parts that you're breathing into. Maybe you're starting with the chest, the rib cage, the belly, and then the pelvic floor. Maybe you're focusing on breathing into anything that might feel tight throughout the body. Or maybe you're focusing on breathing into anything that might feel tender within you. So tension in the mind or something that you're struggling with. You're feeling a little bit of anxiety for working with the wands. Can you breathe into that? And then after you've taken maybe 10 breaths, see how you feel, but take 10 breaths. Then I invite you to take some yoga poses. And you're taking the breath with you into these yoga poses. So when we are practicing yoga, when we're doing stretching, like it's super important for your pelvic floor. But you need to do more than just stretching when it comes to your pelvic floor. We're focusing on lengthening, on widening, on stretching, on relaxing, on opening up. But the breath helps you as well. And when it comes to yoga, it's not just stretching in itself. So you're pairing the two. You're going to first come into a child's pose. You can take 10 breaths there as well. Let's go with 10 breaths in every pose, almost. So you can take 10 breaths there. You're focused on breathing in. As you're inhaling, think that your pelvic floor is blossoming. And as you're exhaling, your pelvic floor is that little flower, that little blossoming flower is closing back up. So you're focusing on the inhale and focusing on the exhale. Then after you're done your child's pose, you've breathed into your pelvic floor, you're melting in to the pose, really starting to slow it down here. Then you're going to move into a puppy pose. This is where your pelvis is stacked on top of your knees. And then you're going to extend the arms out long in front of you, and the third eye is resting on the floor. So it's kind of like a child's pose, but your pelvis is lifted. And here you can either do with the feet pointing back, so parallel, or let the feet point slightly out. So you're creating an internal rotation at the hip joint here. So you're creating an internal rotation at the hip joint. So your pelvic floor attaches to the front of your pelvis, to the back side of your pelvis, your tailbone, and then to both of your sits bones. When you're creating that internal rotation of the hips, you're guiding the sits bones wider apart, further apart. And you're breathing into that space here. You're focusing on that blossoming sensation, and see if you can relax your belly here too. We're focusing on relaxing the belly too, because you're going to be working with your pelvic floor, right? So you want to relax your belly because they are connected. You're relaxing your belly, you're feeling the rib cage, the belly, the pelvic floor expand. You're holding this pose for maybe 10 breaths too, if that suits you. 5 to 10 breaths, whatever you feel comfortable with, but see if you can actually take your time with your breath. Then you're moving in to a happy baby or a modified happy baby. So you get to choose. Modified, hands, you're lying on your back, hands onto your knees. You're opening the knees towards the biceps. So you're opening the knees wide. And happy baby, you've probably seen it online. We've done it before. It's huge in the pelvic community. It's one of those poses that people always recommend. But maybe that one doesn't align with you, then you can do your modified happy baby. And same thing, can you breathe into your pelvic bowl? You're breathing into the pelvic floor, really feeling that expansion. Rib cage, belly, opening up. So that one's a little bit deeper through the pelvis. And then those are 3 poses that you can take. Let's start there. Let's see how that makes you feel. See if you can notice anything within your body. Were you noticing tension? Is there any discomfort anywhere? Any pain? Is it the same on the left and the right side? What can you actually learn about your body? These are questions that I often ask my students because I want you to learn more about your body, because this is something that you can take with you when you go see your pelvic physio too. Just be like, oh, I'm noticing this around my tailbone, or my SI joint is feeling a little bit off. We're increasing body awareness here. That way, you're also decreasing pain and you're getting more information about your body. If you want more, come join us in the Pelvic Health Hero membership. Then, after you've done this, you're going to pull out your dilators or your tools, whatever you're using, and you're using a lube with this. You're going to find a lube that works for you, a lube that feels aligned to you. So I have one lube for my wand work when I'm masturbating, when I'm doing my pleasure practice, and I use other lubes for when I'm being intimate with someone, because sometimes a lube that works with my toys do not really work well with condoms, and vice versa. So you gotta find a lube that feels good to you. I really like Iris's lube for when I'm doing my pleasure practice. It's one of my favorites. It's very smooth. It's very gentle on the skin, which I really appreciate. You've heard we spoke about the moisturizer before, and the lube has those amazing ingredients in it too. So it's vitamin E, hyaluronic acid, and oh my god, I'm blanking. Jojoba. Jojoba. So those 3 ingredients in the lube as well. So you're using a lube. And if you haven't been working with your dilators for a while, start small, start with the smallest, go from there. And as you're working through this, maybe you're using the dilators, you're inserting the dilator. Can you breathe in to the pelvic floor? Breathe into the dilator. So I mentioned this on a previous podcast episode. When I do pelvic floor yoga and then put on in my menstrual cup, it's such a huge difference between that point and before the pelvic floor yoga class, the pelvic floor yoga practice. And I want you to really notice if there's a difference that comes up for you when you're taking the time, you're having a bath, you're journaling, you're slowing down, you're connecting with your breath, you're stretching, you're lengthening. And how does it feel as you start to insert the tool that you're using? Now, if you're using dilator, you're breathing in to the pelvic floor. If you're using a wand, so then we're doing trigger points, see if you can focus on breathing into that specific part that you are trigger pointing into. And you don't want to go gung ho all in here. We're taking it gentle, checking in with the body. If you're noticing that you are gripping through the jaw, you're most likely gripping through the pelvic floor. So we don't want to come to a point where you feel like the stress response is just like, okay, I'm gripping through the jaw, I'm shrugging my shoulders, I'm sucking my belly, I'm stopping breathing. I'm stopping to breathe. We don't want that. We want to ease into it. So you're connecting with the breath, you're leaning into it, you're taking it gentle, you're taking it slow. And you can really take your time here. There's no rush. How can you slow down and get to know yourself more here as well? I find that sometimes we just rush through life without actually realizing, okay, what is actually happening in my life right now, or rushing through the day without noticing the environment. And we're doing the same thing when we're practicing yoga, when we're working with the dilators. We're just doing it just to do it. And how can we actually learn more about ourselves and about our bodies? If you are using your wand and there's a trigger point and you feel emotions come up, what emotions are coming up for you? What are you noticing? Is there something that you can take with you to your pelvic physio, to your therapist? Everything is connected. Everything that you're doing is connected. How can you use all the tools to heal yourself on a deeper level to actually help with your pelvic pain? So it's more, so much more than just using the tools. How can you go a little bit deeper than that? I was also going to say that before you're working with the dilators, you can always find a meditation that you really like and meditate before you're doing the dilator work, before you're doing the wand work, before you work with your tools. Find a meditation that you really like, settle into that meditation before you go into the dilator work. I'm giving you so many different tools that you can use before you go into working with your tools. And after you've worked with your tools, maybe you're noticing things are coming up. Do you actually take the time to regulate after working with the tools? Or do you just continue on with your day, shove away any emotions that might have come up, and just go into like, oh my God, this is not working. This is never gonna work. I don't know what to do. Can you sit down for a moment? Maybe feel the ground beneath you. And just let yourself know that you're safe. You're in a safe space. I've given you tools before. Know the surroundings. Can you maybe lie there, connect with your breath? Okay, what did I learn? What did I learn about my body? What did I learn about myself? How can I take this with me going forward, working with myself, working with the condition instead of against it? And also a thing, this is not really in a really good order right now, but another thing that you can do before you actually head into the dilator work itself or the wand work, massage the inner thighs, massage the belly, use a an oil that makes you feel sensual, that makes you feel like more connected to your body. That could be a rose oil, which can be really nice, massaging that part of your body. And this is working with your tools. Like I was saying in the beginning, when I was given that little tube, the test tube from my gynecologist, it felt so clinical, like there was something wrong with me and kind of ashamed of it, and it was disgusting. The thing is, you're not disgusting. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There's so many people that live with pelvic pain, and the more we're talking about this, the more we're realizing. I was in the sauna yesterday, and one of my students, she's been coming to my classes for a little bit now. She's not usually at the gym. She asked like, no, I don't know. She asked what I did, and I shared with her. I'm like, "Oh, I teach yoga for people with pelvic pain." And then it turned out that she has endometriosis. Like as soon as we open up these conversations, it's important. It's important because more people feel seen. So just talking about it. And there's nothing to be ashamed of here. Just that test tube made me feel like, okay, this does not feel good. So instead of looking at the tools as something clinical that you have to do for your body, how can you use them maybe in relationship in when you're with your partner? How can you invite your partner into this journey too? Like They're with you. You're hot, you're sexy, you're a goddess. They are with you. They want you to live with less pain. How can you let them help you? Like, how can you use the tools together before you're intimate? And this might seem a little bit weird, a little bit wacko. Maybe you're like, oh, Penny, this is not supposed to be shared with your partner. What if they actually like it? What if they actually like it? What if they like preparing you for being more intimate with them? What if they like feeling that connection with you? Let them use the wand. You can show them how to use the wand. You can take them with you to your pelvic physio. You can talk to your pelvic physio about it. Show them how you like to use the wand and let them help you on your journey too. So, how can you make it less clinical and more a part of the journey? Like I was saying, we're making it romantic here, and maybe it doesn't feel romantic when you're looking at your dilator set. But how can you make it more romantic for you? So, before you go to work with your tools, you're setting yourself up, you're taking some time, you're drinking a cup of tea, you're journaling, you're lighting some candles, you are having a bath, taking a shower, whatever that may be for you. Feel into the water. Then you land in bed, you connect with your breath, you're doing a couple yoga poses. Maybe you massage a certain part of your body. Then you move in to the dilator work. You take the breath with you. You're starting small. You're taking your time with your body. You're getting to know your body. You're learning how your body works, what limits it has, what it's capable of, the strength that it contains. And then afterwards, when you've done the dilator work, you take it slow. You don't just rush forward or onwards onto a meeting or a phone call. Just take your time. Okay, how can I connect more with myself right now? What does this version of me need right now? Maybe it's a hug. We've spoken about the self hugs before too. Give yourself a hug. Let yourself land on the bed. Sometimes when I am doing my pleasure practice and just at the top of the pleasure, I get these images of myself. I get these images of myself that I am a fucking goddess. I am a sexy being. I need to start acting like the sexy person that I am. So, how can you really lean into what you need in that specific moment? So I'm not talking just when you're masturbating, but also once you've done the work. Okay, I'm doing this for my future self, for my higher self, of how I want to feel, where I want to go. What do that person need right now, or what do I need right now to get closer towards that person? I need to slow down a little bit, maybe have a little bit of drink, a little bit of water, hydrate, maybe eat a little raspberry, I don't know, something that makes you feel sensual and more connected. And I know that this work isn't for everyone, the way that I work with this, and I just invite you to take what resonates and leave the rest, because we keep coming back to you are so much more than just a physical body. How can you let yourself feel more connected to your entire being instead of just zooming in on the condition itself? If you had any epiphanies regarding this, or if you have any epiphanies going forward when you're working with your dilators, when you're doing your pleasure practice, I would love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a DM, send me an email. I want to know, what are you learning about yourself from the podcast? And also keep in mind that you're a strong person. You're a strong human being. You're a goddess that is rising right now. And this takes time, this takes work. Sometimes I'm doing so much work on myself right now and where I want to go and how I want to feel. And I can almost feel the energy pulling away from me when I am in a state that I know isn't aligning with me. That was actually that happened right before I started recording the podcast. I could feel my energy being sucked out of me towards something that I know isn't serving my higher self. And I was like, okay, this is not good. I don't like this. I'm aware of it. Pay attention to it. But then I also know as soon as I hit play or as soon as I hit record, I know that, okay, now I'm working towards myself and who I am and who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. And my energy has completely shifted just because I'm showing up as the person that I know that I am. So remember that you're a goddess. Even on the days when you're feeling like shit, you don't know what to do, you're scared of looking at your vulva in the mirror, you're lying there in a lot of pain, you're still a goddess. You're absolutely fucking fantastic. You are so strong. And I can't wait to see what you learn about yourself on this journey. Until next week, remember to look after your beautiful self, your beautiful body, and drink some water. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.